On Saturday, the World Health Assembly, that's the decision-making body of the World Health Organization, they concluded their week-long gathering in Geneva and proposed amendments that would have given more power and authority to the WHO. Apparently didn't see the light of day after a chorus of opposition sounded out over the prospect of giving the reins to this group that gave cover to the Chinese Communist Party and sat on their hands when COVID-19 was beginning to spread. Now, there was a lot of consternation at the last minute from Capitol Hill here in Washington, but other countries joined in opposition as well. So what's next now that last week's assembly has concluded? Here to tell us is James Roguski. He is a member of the Law and Activism Committee at the World Council for Health, who has been closely tracking the developments there. James, welcome to Washington Watch.
Well, thank you very much for having me. There's so much to talk about. Which topic, subtopic of this would you like me to go for?
You jump right in and give me the most important first.
Well, I think you already explained that the desires of the Biden administration in terms of what they had presented went down to an absolutely stunning defeat. And there were actually documents that were submitted on Tuesday and got debated and discussed in back rooms all through the week and were adopted on Friday of last week that actually gave more control and more sovereignty to nations as opposed to the WHO. So in my wildest dreams, my prayers came true, and a cherry on top with, going in the other direction where the smaller nations, African nations and many others, negotiated to get, more power away from the WHO, which was just absolutely wonderful. Now going forward, and this is something that I've been telling everybody that I was not talking about prior to today, was all of the negotiations for a proposed pandemic treaty,
right,
which they may start calling accords or something like that, some terminology, which there have been millions of words written by all kinds of organizations for, negotiating a new document, a treaty that would give just enormous control and enormous powers to the WHO, that there's going to be in the middle of June a public comment period that, boy, are they going to be in for a shock when the people speak again in terms of, what would you want a worldwide pandemic treaty to include in terms of giving power and sovereignty over to a one World Health Organization? I think the people are going to have plenty to say about that, and I'm certainly going to try to help them.
Well, and we will as well. And just for clarity for folks, as we talked about this going into last week, there were two things we were concerned about. One was the amendment to the regulations, which you said went down in defeat. And then secondly was this treaty that's being talked about that is still prospective, that's in the future. Now, is there a chance that they revisit these regulations? I heard something about another meeting, possibly, another special meeting that's going to be held. Is there anything to that?
I actually see it as a positive outgrowth. Rather than have amendments be kind of in secret and hopefully pop up and get passed without much debate, it appears that they're going to have a working group that will meet in November. Now that's different than the full assembly. Mm-hmm. So this working group will meet in November, and all nations will be encouraged to submit amendments to the regulations by September 30th. The working group will discuss that, present it in January of next year to be considered a year from now in the 76th Assembly. And so that's something that I think actually is could be a bad thing, but it's really a good thing in that now it's a process where everybody's paying attention.
Right.
And everyone getting their eyeballs on this time around has made it so that you just can't try to hide something and sneak it through. But that's off in the future. What's happening right now is will be a meeting of the intergovernmental negotiating body at the end of July to discuss what they hope to have as a first draft of a pandemic treaty by August 1st. So in the middle of June, we're going to get to weigh in on that, and we'll certainly do so.
Very, very quickly, James, we're almost out of time. So what's that time frame of that treaty? They have this language in August. What's the next step then?
They've been saying that, they hope to present that in 2024, in May 2024. And so, my perspective right now is go to stopthewho.com and learn about the proposals that are being discussed. And if you do that, you will just be amazed at how they're just trying to take over absolutely every aspect of society. Stopthewho.com.
Very good. James, I want to thank you for the great job you've been doing sounding the alarm over this. I think the attention that this gathered prior to the assembly made all the difference in the world, and we're going to continue to track this, so look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you very much.